What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today we're doing a Wei Iverson VOD review because he is ranked 2 in North America and he has been playing on his Smurf account that is 1200 LP, and I'm sure he ended this stream at least 1300 LP on the Smurf, so I think between his two accounts he is 3000 LP plus player, so definitely not the worst person to learn from. Definitely someone who a lot could be learned from. I also feel like just as this patch has gone on, it seems like the really high skill players have found such an edge on this patch. When you watch Dish Dope stream, when you watch Wei Iverson stream, when you watch Kyun's performance at Heartsteel Cup Weekend 1, it just seems like the best players are just hard gapping the field through skill alone, which is always an exciting thing to see on a TFT patch here. We have a bit of a gold opener here. Yeah, Wei is able to make 10 gold here if he, or not 10, I mean, he could make 10 gold here, but he's really interested in holding on to some of these other units. Like, he's actually really interested in holding the Mordekaiser, actually, more than making gold here, which is kind of interesting. Or I guess it was 3-cost unit, right? That's why he has more. It's not necessarily a gold opener, it's just that he started with a 3-cost unit. That makes sense. Clear Mind is solid augment, but Buried Treasures is also fantastic, so yeah, we're just going to pick that up here. Item slams, I see an IE here. I see IE and maybe Gwinsu if you had someone to hold on to it. He doesn't really have anyone to hold on to the Gwinsu, and the IE would be fine for now. And he's just going to look to make 10 gold here, and he's actually going to hold on to this Gnar for potentially maybe like a pentakill opener if we end up hitting like a Chosen Olaf or something. We still haven't picked up a Chosen. He was looking at that Tarek earlier, but it's just not a unit that you can afford to hold in this position when you don't actually have other disco units to play it with. So yeah, I mean, no need to slam an item here. I guess maybe you could slam IE Gnar, and I was going to say it would have killed us an extra, but we still killed one here, so really nice by Wei Jin. And there's a Heartsteel Cassante plus a Felios in store, so now we finally have our Chosen that we can play around, and it should be a decent Heartsteel opener. Really, I would think AD from this spot. This Cloak pushes me even more towards that, because now that's half of Evenshroud. You know, we have IE, half of Evenshroud, half of Red Buff, and those are fantastic items. And the Rod can become Crown Guard, Gunblade, a lot of different stuff. He's still not looking to slam an item here. I wonder if maybe... I mean, still, we're going to kill one here, and it'd be hard to kill a second. So, you know, like, I don't think IE actually swings this fight towards killing another. So, I think this makes sense. I would be interested in holding the Jinx here, actually, over the Cassante, but he's holding on to the Cassante, interestingly enough. And wow, there's an Urgot, though. Okay, I mean, the Urgot can definitely be the unit that we play here for sure. Tier, actually, a little bit awkward here. I mean, it could be blue buff down the road, but it means we're pretty far off from our items. I guess if you wanted to pivot this into some kind of AP option, now we could make Shojin, or it could be like Adaptive Helm, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Adaptive Helm could be a very solid AP option. Something like Adaptive Helm JG, and those are our Karthus items down the line. I mean, I could see it. And then, you know, the question is what we do with the rest. I mean, it could even be Adaptive Helm JGGS, but the GS is a little bit preemptive this early on into the game. But I mean, he's chilling, he's 83 HP here. I guess the big question is, what are we going to take off Carousel? I would be really tempted to take something like a bow here to go for red buff. There are also these spats if you want to contribute to something else. But yeah, he's just going to go for the bow for red buff. I mean, it's on a 3-cost. Yeah, the other option was take spat, but he doesn't even have a chain vest, right, for pentaspat. So it'd be pretty awkward to have all these components and no even chain vest for your pentaspat. So yeah, I like this bow pickup. Means that I would imagine we're playing towards AD here. He's... Oh, I thought he was just gonna hide in his hoodie. Like, I thought he was just gonna bring his hoodie up over his head and he was just gonna stay there. The red buff, of course, as I've talked about many a time, a fantastic slam onto this Urgot unit because he spreads it so well. You can see he's just burning like the entire enemy team. Is Wei gonna win this fight? My God. Versus this Hodge Vi. Yeah, we win this fight just with the power of Urgot alone. Pretty crazy. And the other really nice thing is that our board is quite cheap. One of the great things about Urgot is just how strong he is relative to his cost. Because it's 3 gold, right? But for 3 gold, you get a unit that's stronger than some 2-cost headliners, you know? Like, this Urgot can be a better item holder than, I mean, you know, like a Senna in certain circumstances. Like, and that's really important in this current version of TFT that we're playing that's so focused on, like, the 4-2 and the 4-1 and getting to Heartsteel before other people. Because... you know, maintaining this econ early, making 20 here, like, guaranteed every single time is really important so that you're not broke, and being able to potentially sell off this this Mordekaiser later is really nice as well. Though maybe if we just end up hitting a Mordekaiser too, we could play towards some kind of AP, some kind of pentakill line, because, I mean, Yeah, there's no reason why we can't. We have the Lillian shop if we want to play towards that. But like I was talking about, Rapid Fire Senna in shop, but I mean, there's no way we're going to cut this Heartsteel Cassante, and we have our damage in the Urgot. But yeah, I actually really like how flexibly Wajin is playing this. He still has not committed to a line. He's waiting to see what his items are here, and he's like, I could play anything from this spot. He gets another bow, which is kind of interesting because you don't really care that much about bows. And he also gets the duplicator, which with that Urgot now makes an Urgot 2, which is just pretty crazy. But yeah, he's looking at potentially like Adaptive Helm Slam. If you were to play AD, your slams would definitely be IE, and then the question is where would the other items go in? And yeah, I think, ooh, okay, he's going to go GS Hodge. Still pretty flex, but I feel like this is definitely leaning more towards the pentakill line. I mean, not really. You could kind of put these items on anyone. Like, these items could easily go into Zed. He's just kind of flexing everything. Blistering Strike's obviously not very good in a spot like this. He's just going to check the stats here. He could even take Grab Bag, but it's pretty late for an item Grab Bag is the only scary thing. He's just going to go for the Tiny Titans here. Yeah, Harm Assist, another decent augment as well, but the Tiny Titans is always going to be good here. Going to guarantee that he can make it to like a 4-2 roll down and, you know, be quite healthy. So I think he's pretty happy with that. And he's scouting around to see like, what is going on here. But yeah, I mean, this is TFT at its finest, man. I don't like Wajin could play anything from this spot. Red buff GS Hodge. Like you can obviously put like the Hodge and the GS on. I mean, the GS can go on anyone. The Hodge can go on some kind of frontliner, which is either going to be Zed or it's going to be Viego/Akali. The red buff can go onto Akali, it can go onto Viego, it can go onto Ezreal. Probably don't want it on Zed, but yeah, he is giga flexing here, though he does have this pentakill start, so it's definitely like if he high rolls something like a Mordekaiser 2 or something, then, you know, he could definitely decide to play pentakill from the spot, or, you know, if he high rolls an Ezreal, he can play Ezreal from the spot, just maximizing his ability to high roll, right? Not like hard committing to any one line. And also nice is that he was scouting there. You saw he scouted someone and saw they had a pentakill spat because there was that triple spat off carousel early, so now maybe he's thinking more like, well, depending on how many people are playing Penta, maybe I don't want to play this. But oh my god, look at this Urgot, by the way. How much did he 7.7k in that last fight. This Urgot unit is just completely illegal by all metrics. The only downside to taking Tiny Titans is that we're a bit rich now, like almost too rich, or in HP, of course. Like it's a little bit hard to actually get to some items here. He's gonna take the belt here, which would have to be Even Shroud, I would think, towards that AD line, but I guess we'll see. I mean, you could still wait on it, but definitely the best item is Even Shroud, and is just going to level up here. Doesn't really need this extra Urgot. I really doubt that we're playing towards Urgot 3 this game, but yeah, I mean, a very healthy, very strong opener, and yeah, he is just going to make the Even Shroud here, which still doesn't really lock us into AD in this spot, but it definitely makes us want to lean much more towards AD, just because, you know, when you're playing this, like the pentakill comp, a decent amount of your damage is coming from Karthus. The Even Shroud obviously doesn't help at all with Karthus. I mean, I have to imagine we're going to cash out here. I would be surprised if we lost to everyone with Raise the Stakes. That would be crazy if we did. Another Rod here is actually quite awkward. Yeah, if we want to play AD from this spot. And I mean, like I was talking about, we could still make the pivot back to AP, but it's a little bit far. You would definitely need to hold on to this Lilia. And then it could be something like Death Cap onto the Karthus. Really curious to see what Wajin does from this spot. But I mean, it could still always just be like a Crown Guard and a Gunblade or something. Easily plays into AD, so. He's also not holding onto the Lilias, which I think signifies that he's sort of cutting himself off from this pentakill angle. And yeah, he's just going to start looking for AD flex type stuff. I think he is, at this point, said, you know what, I'm just going to focus on that line because it just makes so much more sense. Another Rod's a little bit scary. I mean, obviously you can make the Crown Guard, but then the question is, what do these other Rods become? You're going to have to make Death Cap on someone. You could make a Spark if you have to. I don't know. I mean, there's no one who really wants Death Cap in this comp. The only out for Death Cap right now in this position would be the Karthus if we pivoted into that, but we don't even have the Lilia now to make that pivot. So he is just going to make the Death Cap here. He's going to put it with this Kale for now. Curious to see. I mean, late game it can go on to something like a Ziggs, sure, but that is very far from where we are right now, though we are very healthy and pretty wealthy. So looking like we're just going to 4-2 it. I'll slow it down for the 4-2 pivot for you guys, because I know people like when I do that. Augment wise, yeah, Metalheads I don't really like because it contributes to, or not contributes, but commits you really hard. Martyr's solid, and then that other augment, Not Today, is also pretty good. Picks up a Zed here, which is nice. Ooh, is it not even a 4-2? I mean, it's only 40 gold here. I would at least level just to get Crowd Diver in. but he is not the richest 4-2er in the West. Yeah, look at this. Wow, I love this. So we're not even going to 4-2 it. We're actually, like, we would have to sell a lot of our units. Like, we'd have to sell this Urgot, and we'd have to sell this this Mordekaiser to actually 4-2 it. So instead, he's going to level, play around this heartsteel for another cash out here with the 5 heartsteel. He's 96 HP because of Tiny Titans. And then at 4-5, potentially we can pivot. I don't know how many rounds it is for heartsteel. I think it's either 2 or 3 more before we cash. It's definitely like we cashed out at the end of last stage, but I forget how long. Okay, it's one more after this fight, and we pick up Zed pair, which is fantastic. So yeah, we're gonna have one more fight, and then we can perfectly cash out at 4-5. This is amazing. And then we can sell the Cassante. We'll have a decent amount of gold, and he's still scouting around trying to see, okay, what's actually taken out of the pool. There's some Ezreals out. There's some Karthuses out. There's actually a lot of stuff out here. So I mean, I still feel like you have to play towards AD from this line. I mean, there's only 3 Ezreals out, it looked like, which is pretty beneficial for us. But yeah, we're going to take a bit of a beating here, but still 171 stack cash out. Not bad at all. And then carousel-wise here, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with this extra cloak. It could be a Renan's for Zed. It could be a BT for Zed. I like Renan's a decent bit, though. It's gone now, so I don't know what this is going to be. Just tier Ziggs for Ziggs. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Just taking a tier Ziggs last off carousel. Going to, and wow, I really, really love the amount of scouting that this guy is doing. He's not really concerned with like rolling it down really, really quick. Wait, I know why he's scouting. He's thinking about raising the stakes here. Oh my God. The 4-5 raise the stakes with 73 HP. I mean, this is bold, because if you take bad losses like this, which this is a bad loss, this is a 7-unit loss, you can very easily be in like the 20s of HP if you just have a ton of terrible losses. Obviously, no one's gonna like grief you at this point in the game. It's just very, very difficult for someone to do that without making their own game go horribly. But that is pretty bold. Obviously, he's very healthy. He just needs to take 3 more losses. But this late into the game, stage 4 player damage and stage 5 player damage, if he's not careful, he could take a ton of damage. The nice thing is we have this Urgot 2, we have this Mordekaiser 2, so our board's not the worst. Up to 400 stacks, not bad. Yeah, I mean, 46, I imagine we take 10 over the next, like, 10 both fights, so we end up being 26 stabilizing. I mean, it's not bad. Also, I wonder if he's just gonna go 9 from this position, depending on what he gets the cash. I guess, like, if you cash out gold, you probably just go 9. It's not actually perfectly on interval because you're cashing out at after 5-2, so you'd want to cash out a little bit earlier, actually. Well, yeah, you'd want to cash out at 5-2, ideally, but all good. I have to assume this is going to become like a blue buff. The problem is, like, ooh, no, he's making Shojin, Adapticone, and are those just going on Ziggs? I mean, he's really concerned about potentially winning the fights, but yeah, it looks like he's going to try to itemize Ziggs here. This is, I mean, it's still a strong board because Kale is just a monster, but they do have a lot of 1-star units, which allows us to kill some units. That was actually, that still was worse than my estimate of 10 HP damage. I mean, 10 was pretty optimistic, I'll say. But I mean, down to 32, we're guaranteed to not die here, and we are going to get a 600 plus stack of cash out here, maybe in the 700s, depending on how this fight goes. Ooh, this is going to be a rough fight for killing units, because it's going to be really, really tough to kill this Amumu, or at least we're going to kill that Pantheon, but that's it. 6-unit loss here, and it is 753 stacks here for Wajan Iverson. Let's slow it down to see how he does this pivot here, because he could just easily go 7th if he messes this up. Radiant TG, and then it says his bench is full, move a champion, so he's going to get some units, it looks like. He's selling units here. He goes 9. He doesn't have that much gold. Rolls twice. It's a Lucian immediately. He still had a lot of gold left to roll, but my God. Oh, and look at that. Okay, so it was a copy of 5 costs, it looks like. He's going to move these items over to Lucian. I assume we have to continue rolling here, but I think he's just going to say, okay, this board's fine for now. Going to fit the Zed in here. Gets the... And it was really a pretty, like, chill pivot, honestly, and he could just move the Radiant TG over to the Kiana. He was mostly concerned with getting good items on good units, finding the space to get this Lucian in, and I mean, now his board should be fantastic. These items do fine on Lucian. It's nowhere near Lucian's BIS, but it is certainly good enough. And at this point, we're just looking for upgrades on our board. He's going to pick up the Gwynsu onto the Zed. He has no remover, so we can't move this Gwynsu over to Lucian, but he can still put it on Ziggs, and Z2 is Z2 in this position. So yeah, I mean, overall, the board doesn't look too bad. We still have this this Mordekaiser on our board who just happens to be kind of sitting there as a random tank, but picking up the Poppy 2 and the Thresh 2, yeah, he's going to pivot this entire front line in, and now the board looks really, really nice. We have Poppy 2 to item hold here. Radiant TG is going to go over to the Zed, who's a great holder of it, and now we are just looking to win the whole game, potentially, from here. The game is pinging him because he hasn't put down EDM selector yet, and so he's going to put it down. I think if you put it down during combat, it like doesn't work. He has to put it down next round, but I mean, all good. This board looks insane now. Not a bad board by any means. I mean, what a play to go for that raise the stakes there, 70 HP down to 16, and now his spot looks fantastic. He's got great items on his units, and I mean, just the fact that he has this Lucian rapid fire headliner and this Zed2 with a Radiant TG, and he's got the Fawn. I mean, his spot is gross. You could think about going 10 from a spot like this. I imagine we're just going to roll for Ziggs 2 at least, because if someone else caps really high, it could maybe be losable, but that's it, you know. We also have to deny like 3-star 4 cross. That's the only other thing that we have to worry about in this position. But yeah, I mean, the board fits together really, really well. It's kind of the standard board, but using the Yorick as like a Mosher to play around, though it is 3 Mosher because we already have the set in. But still, you know, just a good frontliner to play around. An extra item here. We don't really have anyone who needs items here. Yeah, he's just going to itemize the Yorick as potentially the next unit that we're going to get in. And yeah, he's thinking about getting an extra Jazz in because Jazz obviously really, really nice on this board. But he doesn't want to cut like Crowd Diver or anything. He thought about cutting the Yorick just because the Yorick is just a Yorick and it's Guardian. Like that's all he's really doing for this board. Actually, he thought about cutting the Poppy, now that I think about it, which I guess later, once you hit York 2, you could look to cut the Poppy and like maybe some other 2 stars, maybe like a Lowy, you can think about it. And he's also holding the Lulu for potential, as like a potential in, I don't know. But yeah, he's scouting around the board, trying to see, are there any 3-star 4 costs that I have to worry about? Are there any other things that I really have to worry about? Picks up Kiana, who is just a better crowd diver than Yone, sadly for Yone, but I mean, yeah, Kiana's just a beast, so that'll be really nice. It's also nice to just itemize some more of these units. You know, potentially getting items onto this, like Thresh 2 will be really good, though it looks like she's not. Actually, I think she might have farmed 1 item there. I mean, not like farmed it, but given an item to someone there. A little bit of a scary fight, but this is Radiant TG Zed is just unkillable without with that unit not dying means that we are going to be hard chilling in almost every single fight, and the Martyr just makes it so hard for it to die, especially with this this Tactician's Crown. The fact that we have this many units on the board. We're level 9 with 10 units. We're about to go level 10 and have 11 units on the board. This Martyr is insane for us. We're going to fight this True Damage player who has True Damage Kate. True Damage Kate doesn't really do that much damage anymore, though it is looking like, ooh, that was a really close fight to being a loss, but it is going to be a win. 16 HP for Wage, and even if he had taken like an okay loss, he still would have been alive, but would have been a bit scary. And he's just going to take the Redemption because it's a solid tank item to help supplement your other tank items. I have to imagine we're going to level up here, get the Misfortune in, roll down here. There's Ziggs 2, still looking for Yorick 2, and potentially like an Alawi to get in. And he doesn't even want to sell any of this stuff. He's like, you know what, I don't need to sell it. I mean, the game is probably over at this point, right? I can't imagine that this this person actually has a very capped level 9 board as well, so it's actually a bit scary. We didn't scout too much. This is a really scary board. We had a really big heartsteel cache it, so I think, yeah, we are definitely out capping them, but their board was they had a very solid board as well. What a crazy game. I want to show you guys the post-match screenshots so you guys can see the final comps. But he clicks out of it so fast. Oh, I'm a beast. But yeah, well, what a crazy game from Weijin. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.